Simplify non-perfect square radicals. So we're going to use the product rule to simplify the radical square root of 18. So there are two ways of doing this. Method one is if you know your perfect squares and your multiplication facts. Method two is going to be an expanded version. So what we first want to do is factor the radicand using the largest perfect square. Then we simplify the perfect square and we're good to go. So perfect squares are numbers that have square roots. So 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, and you can continue that process. But these numbers on the right are perfect squares. So what you're looking for is you're looking for the largest perfect square so that you can simplify it. 18 you can write as 9 times 2, which means the square root of 18 you can write as the square root of 9 times the square root of 2. 9 is on this list, so the square root of 9 is a perfect square. If I had a square and the area was 9, the side would be 3. So square root of 9 simplifies to 3. That 2 is not a perfect square, so that is my answer. So method 2, let's say you don't know your perfect squares. We could still do this. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use prime factorization. We're going to break this up into different factors and just shrink it. And what we're going to be looking for in this case are pairs of factors. So you have to figure out what works best for you. So I can write 18 as 9 times 2. 9 I could break down to 3 times 3. I cannot simplify 3 or 2. So I would write 18 as 3 times 3 times 2. There's another way you could break down 18. Let's say you don't think of 9 and 2. Instead you say, wait, that's 6 times 3. Well, 6 I can break down into 2 times 3. I can't break down the 2, can't simplify the 3's either. So in that case, 18 I would write as 2 times 3 times 3. So the order I write them in doesn't matter. But in both cases, 18 breaks down into the same parts. 3 times 3 times 2. Which means the square root of 18 breaks down into the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 times the square root of 2. Perfect squares are pairs of factors. 4 times 4, 3 times 3, 2 times 2. So if you're breaking it down this way, what you're looking for are pairs. 2 of the same factor, which we actually find right here. Square root of 3 times the square root of 3. I'll write it up here. Technically, that's the square root of 3 squared because there's 2 of them. This exponent and this radical, because it's a square root, are going to eliminate themselves. So this will simplify into just 3. That 2 is going to stay in the radical. So because we have pair of 3's, the 3 would come out. And that's how you simplify non-perfect square radicals.